In this video, I'm going to show you how to add an advanced contact form to your WordPress website with multiple choice options, drop-down boxes, and a recapture box to prevent spam going to your messages. Keep watching. Hey, this is Steve with Coffee Shop Blogger, helping you build a better website. So in a previous video, I showed you how to set up this simple contact form with the name, email address, and the message box. And by the end of this video, you'll also be able to add some other fields. So there's the multiple choice fields, maybe a telephone number, and some checkboxes. As you can see, that there's a couple of these options down here. And I'll also show you how to set up the recapture so that it stops you from receiving spam emails in your inbox. And before I start, make sure you hit the red subscribe button, as I'm trying to reach 100,000 subscribers with this channel. It's my mission to help as many people as possible create an awesome website, and if you subscribe, that will really help with the growth of this channel. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So this was the original contact form I created. If we come over to the form I created before, if you've not already done one of these forms, then what you need to do is click on Add New. And I just created a simple contact form, so I'm just going to click on that again. And you'll get these options just here. And in the previous video, all I did was change the name field to the format of simple. So it just has the first name. Or someone can put in their full name if they like in this field, it's up to them. And if we go back to fields, what I'm going to do is add some more fields. So you just come over to this box just here and click on Add Fields. And what you can do is, let's say if we wanted to add a drop down, it gives people the option to click on this drop down box. And I'm also going to do multiple choice and a checkbox and numbers, and I think that will do. And you'll get a good idea of how each of these work, so that you can add them on your own WordPress website. So you can also drag these up as well. So what I'm going to do is leave the name field, because I'm going to need to know the person's name, whoever's filling the form out. And I'm going to need a way of getting back to them, so an email is always a good option. So I'm going to leave the first two fields where they are. And then maybe let's bring up the multiple choice and a checkbox. Now, a multiple choice and a drop down is basically the same thing, because if someone selects one of these options in a drop down, they can only select one. And if they select multiple choice option, then they can only select one of these as well. So technically, this is the same thing. It's just displayed slightly different. Someone can see all of the options if you use the multiple choice, but if they want to know what the other options are in the drop down, then they have to click on the arrow here to see what the options are. So it's entirely up to you which one you use. To be honest, you could use both if you like. It depends on what sort of information you're getting from people, but I can give you some ideas of what information you can get from people as well. So I'm going to put numbers here because I'm going to use this as a phone number, and then at the bottom we'll just keep the comment message the same. So now what we can do is edit each of these fields. We just need to click on the actual one we want to edit. So this one says numbers. I'm going to change that to say phone number, and let's make that one required. And then that's the phone number one done. And then if we come down to the checkboxes, we can see that there's these choices here. If we change these, it will then change all these options that we get to choose when filling the form out. So I'm just going to use a random example. So I'm going to just say, what type of coffee do you like? And then we could add something like, the options would be Americano and latte. And then if we want to add a new one, just click on the plus symbol. So then those are the options we are allowing. So we can even put one at the bottom that says none of the above or something like that. But this is just an example. You obviously know what sort of information that you want to get from your visitors. I'm just showing you how you can actually set this up. So I'm going to leave it as that, and I'm going to make this required as well, so they have to answer this question. That means that they need to fill this out, otherwise the form will show an error. And then the next one down is multiple choice. So this one I'm going to do a simple one. How did you hear about us? So I'm going to do something like Google search, and then maybe something like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and let's do Instagram, and then maybe a blog post. Or you could do, instead of doing all of the different social media sites, you could just do social media. And then you could do in brackets, Facebook. Can't spell today. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Let me just do etc. There we go. So if you want to have less options, and it just kind of categorizes the whole social media in one. So this is a good question to ask your audience or your visitors if they're filling out a form. Helps you know how they found out about your website. Obviously the question about coffee isn't necessary, but that's, like I said, it's just an example that I used. Telephone number is always a good one if you need to actually contact your clients or your customers, or if you actually want to have a conversation with them over the phone. And then the drop down works in exactly the same way as these two. You just give the drop down a title, so it could be when is the best time to call, and we could do something like morning, afternoon, evening. Okay, so then we can come over to save the form, and then we need to add this form to the contact page. So I'm just going to edit the page. Okay, so I'm just going to add the WPForms and select this form, which is this one just here. And we can see that the form is showing what it's going to look like. Click on update, and that's what it looks like on the page. So obviously a lot more detailed. We're going to get a lot more information from the person filling this form out. Now, one other thing that we need to remember is the settings and the notifications. So we need to make sure that we name the subject something that's we're going to know straight away as soon as we receive an email from somebody that they've sent the email from a form on our website. So I would just call it the name of my website or my blog, and then something like contact page. And then it's very obvious where this email has come from. And we need to make sure that the reply to email is the right field. So if we click on smart tags, click on email, that'll be the correct reply to. And then the message is going to be all the fields. It's just going to paste all of the fields in this, in the body of the email. So they all look correct. Make sure that the email address that you use as well is the correct email address. And click on save. And this is the message that gets shown to the visitor once they've filled the form out. and let's give the form a better name than that. Say advanced contact form. And we want to make sure the anti-spam honeypot is turned on. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add this recapture as well. So what we're going to do is add at the bottom here, it's going to be a box where it needs to be ticked, and that's going to help prevent spam coming to your inbox. So what we need to do is come out of this, so close that, and then come over to settings, and then click on recapture. And we're going to use this checkbox, recapture checkbox. So what we need to do is come over to this website here, and I'll link this in the description below. And you need to be logged into your Gmail account, and then click on create. And we're going to label this the name of the website, just something like advanced form. And then this one here is going to be Recapture version 2. And then click on I'm not a robot tick box. And then we need to put in the domain name of where the form is going to be placed. Paste that in here and press enter. And then the owner is just your email address of whichever Gmail account you're logged into. And then you need to click on the accept the recapture terms of service and then send alerts. And this is just to send you an email if any misconfigurations or errors happen. And then click on submit. And then you'll get these 2 keys. And what we need to do is copy these keys. So this is the site key. Come back over to the settings. And where it says site key, paste that in. And then come back over and copy the secret key, paste that into the secret key, and then we can save these settings. And then on this, we can either go to the settings again or go to analytics. And this just gives us some overall analytics of the capture being used. You won't necessarily need to know what this data is actually outputting, so we can just get rid of that. And then you need to come back over to the form, click on edit, and then click on the recapture. So it's now saying that the recapture has been added, so click on OK. We can see that it's been added with this little icon at the top here, and click on save. And now if we reload the page, we can see that now we've got this box underneath where it says I'm not a robot. And the person will need to click on this to be able to submit the form. And this is a very good way of being able to stop any spam messages coming through to your inbox. And you know that if you ever get any emails from this page, it's likely going to be from an actual human being. So that is the contact form done. It's a lot more technical and a lot more advanced than the previous one I did. But I thought I would just show you how to add these extra fields, the different field options, checkboxes, and drop downs, and the recapture. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That will really help me know that you liked it and that I can continue making videos like this in the future. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you click on the subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos I create. So thanks very much guys, I'll see you in the next one.